Okay, guys, let's keep going with this. Um, I don't know how much longer we need to spend on this sort of plot line with these two idiots in Caliban. Um, the point is the Caliban doesn't understand what they are, um, and these two guys find out they're both still alive. And they talk about how did you escape. This guy actually floated off on a butt of sack is like a barrel of wine, so he's got a bunch of alcohol for them to drink. And Caliban says, "I'll swear on that bottle to be thy true subject, for thy liquor is not earthly." So Caliban likes the alcohol so much, he promises to obey them. And again, the irony is that we know Stefano and Trinculo to be fucking morons, but he thinks they're like important kings or gods. Um, and they talk and stuff. They give him kiss the book. The joke is that a religious person would kiss the Bible, but the book they have is the alcohol, so he's going to keep drinking the alcohol. Um, and he's got all the alcohol for them to drink. And Caliban doesn't understand what he's looking at because he doesn't know people. He says, "Hast thou dropped from heaven?" And Stefano says, "Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was." And Caliban says, "I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog and thy bush." This is like mythology about the moon. And then he says, "Kiss the book." Again, drinking more alcohol. Um, the it's sad. It's sad. The irony. Sometimes irony, I said, was often funny. Jokes. Here, the irony is really sad that we know Stefano and Trinculo to be fucking idiots, but Caliban thinks that he believes them. He says, "Oh, did you drop from the heavens? Are you spirits?" And they say, "Oh yeah, we're the man in the moon. We've come down from the moon to visit you." And he just doesn't know any better. Poor Caliban. Um, okay. Um, by this light, this is a very shallow monster, right? I mean, he's not really too scary. I have feared of him a very weak monster, the man in the moon, a most poor credulous monster. Credulous means that Caliban will believe anything they say. Well drawn monster. And Caliban says, "I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island." If you remember, that is what Caliban did for Prospero. Right? He said he would show him the island. So he says to these guys, "I'll show you every inch of the island." The fucked up thing about Caliban is he's been a servant for so many years that it's all he knows. Um, Caliban's biggest wish isn't to be free, it's to have a better master. And it's very sad. This is a very depressing kind of thing. Um, Maybe you know people in abusive relationships that can't seem to get out of them because it's all they know. They're used to it. It's normal. Caliban's life has been slavery, and he's mostly excited to have a new master. He doesn't want freedom. He just wants a better master because slavery is all he's ever known. It's very sad. Um, he says, "And I will kiss thy foot. Be my god." Trinculo says, "By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster." He's worried he's going to steal the alcohol, but they make him kneel down and bow to them. "I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster, a most scurvy monster." Um, and they get him drunk. And Caliban just wants to please them. "I'll show thee the best springs, I'll pluck thee berries, I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee." A most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard. I mean, Caliban's stupid for thinking they're so great. And Caliban says, I prithee, let me bring thee where the crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scamels from the rock. Will thou go with me? So Caliban just really food. Pig nuts are just like pine nuts. He's gonna get them all this food. "I prithee, lead the way without any more talking." Um, and they get drunk and they sing. And Caliban sings. And his song is extremely sad. "Caliban, Caliban has a new master. Get a new man." And he says, "Freedom, freedom, freedom." But it's not, the irony is, it's not freedom. It's just a different kind of slavery. He's just found a different master. All he wants, Caliban's got a new master, get a new man. Meaning, hey, Prospero, I got a new boss, so you're going to have to get a new servant. But Caliban shouldn't have a boss at all. Caliban is the only one in the entire play that was born on the fucking island. But he's been living as a servant for so long, he cannot think any other way, and he's limited. This is what Shakespeare does. It's complicated. On the one hand, Caliban is an asshole who tried to rape Miranda. On the other hand, Caliban has been treated like absolute fucking dirt by every human being he's ever come in contact with. I mean, except for Miranda, I guess, who was nice to him and Prospero turned on him later, but still, you feel a little bad for the guy. Okay, so this is going pretty good. Let me take us to the next section we're going to be looking at here. Okay, so we're going to jump to Caliban again. I'm on page 14. And he's with Trinculo and Stefano, and there's a whole stupid scene where Ariel makes it seem he sort of tricks. Trinculo and Stefano are hanging out, and Ariel does an impression of one of their voices and makes him think the other guy's mad at him, and they get in a fight, and it's stupid. What I wanted to point out was something really special that Shakespeare does, and this is advanced. We don't usually talk about this, but to talk about sound. The sound, I remember sound from the first days of school, but there were 5 key terms. I really only use 4, but we use summary, metaphor, irony, and ideas. But there's also sound, and I would like to just spend a quick second on this, which is Caliban. He's talking to them about how great the island is. And they talk about how he's drinking, and they're going to beat him and all this stuff, and this monster is going to be our servant and whatever. They're treating him very badly. And Caliban says, "Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom. Oh, is a custom in his afternoon? Sorry, I'm not talking about sound. We'll deal with that later." Caliban says he's talking about destroying Prospero. "'Tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his wizened with thy knife, cut his throat. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot, as I am, nor hath one spirit to command. They all do hate him." So he says you gotta take his book away, his spell book, and then you can just fucking stab him in the neck. Burn his books. He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, which when he has a house he'll deck withal. He's got a lot of nice things for you to steal. And what most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her non parel. She's unequaled. "I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax, my dam, and she." But he says she's very beautiful. "Is it so brave, alas? I, my lord, as will become thy bed, and bring thee forth brave brood." It's very sad that he's essentially just like, you should kill Prospero, and then you can steal his daughter and have sex with her. Stealing Prospero's daughter and having sex with her was Caliban's plan, but now he's getting Stefano to do it. He's also going to get Stefano to try to kill Prospero with a knife. Monster, and they agree to it immediately because they're fucking terrible people. "Monster, I will kill this man, his daughter, and I will be king and queen. And Trinculo and thyself viceroys." He sort of demoted the 2 of them to following him. All right, cool. And they give the whole plan about they got to get him when he's asleep and destroy him. All right, cool. So it's worth pointing. It's so sad that Prospero that Caliban sort of does this. And they're talking about murder, right? They're just going to kill this guy and cut his throat with a knife and batter his skull with a log. And then they hear music. They hear invisible music, and the 2 human beings become very scared. But Caliban says it's fine. And this is one of the most interesting things Shakespeare does in the whole play. Caliban says, "Be not afeared. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twanging instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that, if I had waked after a long sleep, would make me sleep again. And then in dreaming the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go kill that guy." What's amazing about that is sound. Notice that you see the way when the other characters talk, it's just like a regular book where the lines go all the way. They just keep going. This is all like a novel or a textbook or something. But you see how Caliban, this is more like poetry, and it sounds like poetry. I know that's hard to hear. But it sounds like poetry. It has a rhythm to it. "The clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked I cried to dream again." It's a tremendous detail that even though Caliban wants to murder Prospero and rape Miranda, and Trinculo and Stefano are fucking morons that are going to help him do it, Caliban still sometimes speaks beautiful poetry. He has a rhythm to his words that Stefano and Trinculo don't have. And usually in Shakespeare, the people that have that rhythm are like kings and queens and important people. Prospero has that rhythm all through, so does Miranda, so does Ferdinand. But there's something in Caliban that Shakespeare thinks is special enough and valuable enough that he lets Caliban speak verse. And as bad as Caliban is, he wants to rape Miranda and kill Prospero and sell Miranda to Stefano. Shakespeare suggests that there's more to him than that he's more valuable than he appears. He has poetry in his soul, like a king would, and there's something special about him that nobody else sees. See you in the next video.